Hello. Mom, welcome to the channel.
Oh my gosh, glad to be here today. Thank you.
This is my mom. Do you want to say your name?
Lexi. Hello world.
So I think we had you on the channel like years ago, yeah? Like a long time ago.
Yeah. She was a different person.
Yeah. I don't even think like Zoel really existed back then.
I was talking about me.
Oh. Today my mom's going to be interviewing me. She's going to ask the questions that you guys have been asking. We're here in LA right now. Yeah, it's good to be back in LA with the fam bam.
So can you teach beginner Samba on your channel?
Yes, I can.
How much do you pay for your outfits?
It depends. It depends on where I buy it, who I buy it from, and if it's custom. Costumes, depending on like how fancy they are, can go for like $200 to $1,000 and even more. The range that I spend in is between like 3 to 5. That's for like a good quality costume, but not breaking the bank.
What techniques do you use to learn new language?
I really don't have a technique. I find people who want to talk to me and I figure out a reason to talk to them, and I use the words that I know.
Can you share your journey to learning Portuguese?
I spoke Spanish beforehand, came to Brazil, and I was just speaking Spanish, really. And I met people who could understand my, like, Portuguese, which is a thing, by the way. A lot of people speak Portuguese.
What is Portuguese?
Portuguese is Spanish and Portuguese mixed. It was, like, mostly Spanish, and then over time it's become more Portuguese. And every now and then, like when I'm talking, someone I have a lot of conversation with might be like, you know, you said a Spanish word right there. I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I didn't realize.
How do you know living and thriving in South America was the life for you?
We talked about this earlier. It's not so much that I was like, oh, it's there, but it was like, I know it's not here. Because of you, I've always been traveling, and you've always talked about like going to different places, and that you and Dad have romanticized different things. Dad's definitely romanticized Mexico a lot more. Our family is Mexican, and you've always romanticized Italy. My brain was mostly like geared towards Europe and living out there when I first was like imagining living somewhere else in the world. And it wasn't until I got there after the fact that I was like, oh wait, I think I want to live over here. This is amazing. And even like Colombia, when I first moved there, I was so naive. Like I didn't even connect Pablo Escobar to Medellin. I was just like, Colombia? Okay. I was like just very trusting, and I also knew once people started talking about Colombia and the way they were like I was like, you know what, I didn't even want to like research and try and figure out what all that anxiety is about. I'd rather just go and like learn and like do on the ground work and see what it's really like, because otherwise if I put all these ideas in my head, start hearing all this stuff, I'm gonna freak myself out, or I'm gonna feel whatever. I was like, I just want to go in like not really knowing anything. And I do think that that was the best way to do it, and I think my intuition told me to do it that way, because I wouldn't really recommend that for other things. But I do think in that specific situation it really served me, because we landed in such a perfect place. We were so safe, we made amazing friends, and we were in such a bubble that I was able to heal a lot and learn a lot. So was Kiana. So I think like it was very divinely led in that situation. But after that whole experience, that's when I was like, okay, what else is around here, because I want to know.
Right, and that spirit of fear creates the now no
Mm-hmm.
in your mind before you even get there, if you receive it, right?
Exactly.
How do you make friends when you move to new places?
I just talk to people. I'm like, hey, how are you? What are you doing? Me and Kiana, actually, it's kind of crazy now that I think about it. We read this book together, like every night. We never finished it, by the way. But we read this book every night that was called 99 Ways to Talk to Anybody, I think. And it was like a business networking type book. And we would like highlight all these notes and like connect these stories, and just, we'd have like a little book club between the two of us. And I think a lot of those things kind of prepared us for talking to people and learning how to be social. I really just lead with myself. I'm like, what are the things that I like to do? And because most of the time I'm in environments that I'm happy to be in. Like I'm in a dance environment, I'm in like a modeling environment, I'm with a photographer. I'll ask questions. What else do you like to do? What's your dream? What do you like to do in your free time? Oh, I love coffee. Oh my gosh, have you been to this place? Like I just try and follow that. I also really like talking to older people, because people in our generation, we don't know how to have conversation as much. So older people, if you just observe the way they talk, they're really good at just having conversation. I think of those people when I'm like, how do I talk to other people? And like a good time transcends language. That's why I really like dance, because you just shimmy right over to somebody, and if they're feeling the vibe, they just dance with you. You don't have to speak the same language.
And there's nothing like a good storyteller. Again, any language.
Yes.
Love a storyteller, right?
Yes.
Você é Kiana, são primos or amigas? Are you and Kiana friends or cousins?
We're both.
Como você aprendeu a sambar tão bem em tão pouco tempo?
Okay, I'll say this one in Portuguese.
Okay.
Realmente eu acho que foi só vontade, porque eu principalmente começava na TikTok e eu tava aprendendo sozinha no meu quarto. Eu só tava vendo vídeos de pessoas que eu achava legal e eu tentava copiar elas. E eu tenho algumas influenciadores que eu segui, eu posso colocar lá embaixo para vocês pode seguir também se você quiser. E aí eu fui tentando aprender sobre o samba, eu aprendi aonde se venha. Também foi meio difícil porque como eu não falava português, eu não sabia as perguntas certas para perguntar para eu posso saber as coisas mais profundas sobre samba, mas eu começava aí dançando sozinha e aí eu começava a dançar nos meus rodas perto de minha casa e algumas pessoas começavam a falar para mim sobre o samba e aí eu fui conectando com mais pessoas que fiz samba, aonde eu pode pegar os passos. Mas aí eu fui para Salvador e eu começava com afro. Eu acho que isso foi o vira mais forte e mais importante no meu caminho com samba, porque ali eu consegui entender as coisas mais profundas do samba, que vem de uma coisa bem afro. Foi muito vontade, eu tava fazendo todos os dias. Ainda eu treino toda manhã, às 7 da manhã. Eu sempre estou me tentando melhorar, porque eu vejo isso como um trabalho e eu luto por isso. Quando eu tô dançando, eu trato como se fosse uma bailarina. E como elas têm que trabalhar tanto, esforçar, tem que treinar, tem que preparar o corpo. Eu acho que o samba é igual. Não é uma arte fácil, não é uma arte fraca. Você tá representando algo muito profundo que tem muito história, ancestralidade. Eu quero trazer isso em cima de meus ombros com orgulho. Então, eu trato o meu samba como isso. E por isso eu acho que virou mais forte, mais rápido, e cada vez que eu tenho a oportunidade para aprender com alguém, eu sempre coloco como uma coisa bem importante.
Qual palavra em português que você acha mais difícil pronunciar?
Liquidificador. I got it now, but that one took me a while.
How do you take care of your hair while in humid countries?
I have a harder time when I'm back here because my hair really thrives in the humidity and my skin, and then when I'm back in a colder climate, I tend to get sick. I tend to have like more breakage. I've been having like crazy dry throat lately. It's actually taken me like 2 weeks for my throat to stop being so dry and like hurting. So I feel like it's the opposite, but girl, Greece, blue magic.
Where do you want to visit in Africa?
Oh my gosh, the list is long. I really want to go to Senegal. I want to go to Congo. I want to go to Angola. My friend Tamazia is from Angola, and I really, really want to go with her. I want to go to Kenya. There's a dance school in Senegal that I really am interested in going to. It's like a 6-week program, so I would have to plan that out. I also really want to go to Nigeria, but I want to go with someone Nigerian. So the list is long, but those are just like the ones off the top of my head. Qual coisa foi mais difícil pra eu adaptar? Eu sei. A parte mais difícil pra mim, que foi os brasileiros amam ficar bem perto assim, bem apertada. Eu não consigo. Mas pelo resto tá de boa.
Okay, so how do you find the confidence to travel by yourself?
Was prepped for it really early in my life. I don't think there's anything that I specifically have done, but I think because you have like put me on a path that way, I was able to do it. There are certain things that my mom told me growing up, like always remember where you are, know how to get, once you go out into the world, know how to get home. That really prepared me in a lot of ways to just be able to figure it out.
Okay, how did you contact dance teachers and find accommodations for where you were at?
It's all in talking to people. My brother, Theo, with Samba Funk, he brought me to like my first dancing stuff in Salvador. And because I was connected to so many dance people, because I was in a dance school, they had all the information. I didn't have to go anywhere else. So they would just tell me what was happening. And then also like people would tell me about Instagram. Like I would go to a party like Pedro del Sol, and I would just ask like, oh, do you know where the next samba is? Do you know what this is? and they would just pass me information. So I just talk to people.
Tips for struggling with low self-esteem.
I think that your self-esteem or insecurity, it's about things that you want for yourself or you want to be and you don't allow it. But you have to, like, you gotta bust through that. You gotta bust through your own glass ceiling that you create for yourself or that you feel trapped in based on, like, things that you've heard in your life or things that have held you back. You just gotta be that girl. You just gotta choose you. And the more you take small steps in that direction, they become like bigger leaps and bounds, and if you turn into this like amazing, beautiful person at the end of it.
What or how far do you want to take your dancing career?
Oh, all the way to the top. To the top, baby. I'm trying to be like a backup dancer for Anita. I really want to go on tour. That's my goal for 2024, 2025. I want to go on tour and I want to start backup dancing, but I really would love to be part of a theater group that does like dance shows. I really want to tell a story with dance. I think that Samba is like right up here with ballet. Like there's so much technique that's required, so much training, and it has so much eloquence that I believe that it has the ability, and it should be, an art that's in that high of a regard. And I would love to be in a situation to, you know, be part of that in the presenting of Samba. Yeah, I want to do a lot with dance. My 2024 vibe, my
Do you have
plans.
plans for your 2024 vibe, or you're like in them already? And this is
I'm
happening?
in the vibe already.
Okay.
I would say my plans are move to New York. That's like the first plan. I have been working like a lot of odd jobs and a lot of things like to try to supplement income, and that's something that I've seen a lot of artists do. I need to be, you know, singing, dancing, those kinds of things full time. And I definitely am getting to that point because I dance so much now and I sing that I really feel the potential there. Going on tour, I can't stop saying that. I literally talk about it all the time. Go on tour, go on tour, go on tour, go on tour. And I would really love to model, but I want to do it abroad. So I'd love to be flown out somewhere to do a shoot in like Mexico or in Cuba or in Brazil, something like that. And yeah, I'm really, really ready to just work, and I feel like I've been planting a lot of seeds, and so I'm really ready to just get out there and like do it. Oh, and then also drop music. I'm working on an EP, so. Você tentou me beijar, braço segurou meu pescoço.
How do you afford living in Brazil? And how did you afford traveling the world before family?
So now I afford travel and my life through dance. Dance funds most of my life now. And when I was in Brazil, I worked a little odd jobs. I did social media, and I also saved. That was mostly funded by dance too. And I also worked like little jobs. I worked at a coffee shop. I worked at a smoothie shop. I worked in a gym. I was teaching like little Zumba classes. Like a lot.
Pennies make dollars.
Exactly. You know that scene with Tiana was like putting pennies in the jar? That was me.
Okay, so two people are interested to know if you think you're going to return to Colombia, and maybe what other places you'd like to live in Latin America.
I would love to live in Mexico because I really want to connect to my own culture. I recently saw the ancestry results from my grandma, and she's like hella indigenous.
Hella?
Because like I thought we were more Mexican, but there was a bunch of stuff that was talking about like our indigenous roots, and so that was really surprising to me. And I'm really curious to see like what other things we can learn about us, especially as mixed people. I feel like we just lose a lot of our roots. People's favorite question is like, what are you? And I'm like, girl, I don't even know. I would like to go back to Colombia sometime soon, actually. There might be something in the works.
¿Cómo puedo romantizar y ser la protagonista si mi vida es repetida?
Tienes que cambiarlo, mi amor, porque tú ya eres la persona que está manejando toda tu vida. Entonces, si tú quieres cambiar algo, es en ti, mi amor, en ti. Para yo escribiría todo que estoy haciendo y ver, ok, eso no puedo cambiar, pero estoy libre en esa parte de mi vida. Tengo que todavía no estaba explorando, y ver cómo te puedes como manejar todo, cambiar todo para que haya espacio para todo lo que quieres hacer.
Okay, and we all want to know, and don't make it sound so easy. What is your workout split routine?
I dance a lot. I eat like very specifically, and it's not for nothing. Like I work really hard. I used to train like almost every day in the gym, but since I travel and like I don't have a car, it's not as easy. So now I train every morning. I also rehearse 2 times out of the week, and most weekends I'm performing. Whenever I don't have shows, I make a point to go out and do salsa. Like I'm constantly moving my body at least once a day. And if I can't do that, then I'll do a little workout in the house. I really like the gym. I really like to swim. So I'll go to the gym sometimes and do a little workout split if I can. I used to work out at Body Mechanics in Oakland and Laurel District, and they have some really good trainers over there. I would say if you can have like little weights in your house.
What is a passion of yours that you would like to focus on more in the future?
Music. And I think it's gonna happen naturally because I wasn't singing like at all, and then suddenly I've been singing a lot, and so I'm just really, really excited that that's been happening more. Also modeling.
How do you find and keep friends in your 20s? I know. Or 30s or 40s or 90s, right?
I know. This is such a good question because I had such a hard time with finding friends early in my life. I think environment has a lot to do with it. And I didn't think that before, but now that I've lived in different places, I really think that because I have met a lot of social people, but they're in specific places. So like living here in LA, I don't have any friends from my childhood. I never grew up with like friends, and I have them to this day. And some people have that, which great on y'all. But that's not something that I had. And I wish that I had those friends growing up. And I had found people who were, like, part of my tribe. And the same thing in Colombia. Like, it was so hard for me to find people that I resonated with. It could be a number of reasons why that was the way that it was. But when I got to Brazil, it was like, I was finding people everywhere, left and right. Same thing with Oakland. People everywhere, left and right. And so I think that sometimes it has a lot to do with the place, but also something that I did not expect was when I was in New York, there were so many people who I had been talking to or I knew of, and then they were in New York, and I was actually shocked. I was like, people actually make friends online. That was just not real to me. Or, like, you meet them, but they're kind of weird. But, like, the people that I met in New York, I was genuinely like, these people are actually so cool and fun. And so I think having friends for different things, and not everybody can be a bestie. And some people are. Try and be myself as much as I can from the minute that I meet people, so that I know right away, like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna hang out with you for like at a club, or you know what, I can see how you might be into these kind of things. I'm not quite into them. No hate, but I don't think I can roll like that. Yeah. Or there are other people where I'm like, come into my house right now, I will make you dinner, you can sleep over, you can wear my clothes, you can do everything but use my toothbrush. Right. And it's just because like I get a sense that they're gonna be a really good friend. But I try and put that energy out as soon as possible, because if it's not gonna be reciprocated, I'm like, cool, now I know right away. Treat it like it's a relationship. You and your friend are supposed to meet up with them. If you go to a trip and you're like, oh my gosh, my friend would love this, pick up the thing for them and give it to them, because those are things in a relationship that create like that bond. And it's so important to make those like little promises of investment. Like, I'm investing in you because I'm going to be around. That's really what you're showing when you do those things in a friendship.
Genuine willingness to be vulnerable to a person and show that you need them is super important.
Your eyebrows look so good.
Oh, what?
I'm just like looking at them.
You are all around the world the last few years. Do you miss staying at one place?
No. I would like to have a place where I have like a base. And I definitely have had that in Oakland. Like, I also know, like, if I come to my parents' house, the bed's going to be right there. And it's those small things that are really important that make you feel like you have, like, security in this world. But I really would like to be somewhere where, like, I'm actually living. And I don't want to travel for the sake of traveling. I want to travel on the condition that I'm working. So, you know, if I go to Mexico, I'm working in Mexico. I'm doing something. I'm not just, like, hanging out. Because I've hung out, I've learned things about myself, and I also like my life. I don't feel like I need a break from my life. So those like days of laissez, I don't feel like I need like weeks or months of that in another place. I would like to be in that other place and get paid to be there.
your great grandfather used to say that when I was growing up, and I never really thought like that made sense. I don't give a damn what you do, just don't move my bed. And I was like, who moves beds? Like, what? But I get it now, right? We don't move your bed. This bed is here for you because this bed being here for you represents that we're here for you. And we care about you feeling at home, you know, which is so important, really.
Yeah.
In terms of learning a new language, is this something that you feel like you do with a tutor or no? Because
I would say that one kind of depends on your learning style. Some people really benefit from a tutor. Like, I think Kiana's one of those people.
Yeah.
She's very studious, and she benefits from a tutor. Me, I don't. Because I need to have, like, the
context.
The context, and I need to have the stimulation of having a story with different words. And I need to be creating new memories in order to remember the words. Otherwise, like, they don't really stick for me. And so that's why immersion is always my number one recommendation. And I really want to learn French. That's the next language that I really want. And same thing. I'll be doing immersion. Maybe I'll do a little series on my journey with French as I learn it.
That would be really cool. And I would say on that type of studious learning thing, like that works for Kiana. And I do see myself as a studious person. It has absolutely worked against me when it came to Portuguese because I can read Portuguese. I can read all these languages, you know, and that's where I get my understanding. But when those letters jump off the page and come out of somebody's mouth and those sound blends change, I am lost. And I get so frustrated with myself. But that's because I'm missing the point. When I learned Italian, I lived in Italy, and I wouldn't have gotten it the same way, you know, so.
Yeah.
I think you're just going to have to do a bullet, like a little pie. Okay. Because what is your ethnicity? How about what is not your ethnicity?
I know. I'm not Asian.
There you go.
As far as I know.
I'm black, first of all.
And then I'm Mexican, I'm indigenous, Scottish, I'm a little, like, percentage Spanish.
Irish, too.
A little percentage Irish.
And there's
Nigerian. Guyanese.
And we still don't know it all because we haven't done mom.
Yeah. So that's just like an uncle here or an aunt here or an uncle here or my grandma has done. That's like the further out. So like my dad hasn't done it. So there's still things that we don't really know. So
we have covered all of Zoel. All is been put into the blogosphere of the world. I don't know.
That was a lot of questions, but you know, it's been a while since I've answered questions.
I know you better.
Well, Mom, thank you for being on the channel today.
Thank you for letting me share your story with your community.
Yeah, that was really nice. Yeah, so thank you. I'm so glad you're on the channel with me. All right, I'll see y'all guys in the next video.